This is the easier-to-read version of 1984 by George Orwell, retold and narrated by Sarah Simpson. Part 3, Chapter 3. Winston was strapped to the hard bed again, but this time it was a little looser. He could move his arms, legs, and head a little. They were in the room with the electric shock machine again, but O'Brien was using it on Winston less. O'Brien was talking. There are 3 stages in the process of making you a true member of the party. The first stage is learning what you are supposed to do and feel. We have finished that step. The second stage is learning to understand why it is important to believe in the party and its mission. We are starting that step now. The third stage is reintegration. That happens when you truly believe in the party and are ready to willingly offer your mind and body to the group. Once you reach the third stage, we will shoot you. You will be allowed to die. O'Brien continued. You have asked me why the Ministry of Love goes to so much trouble torturing prisoners like you. Why do we bother to do it if we are just going to shoot you when it's over? I feel like you understand how we do this process now. The next thing you need to understand is why we do it. You read parts of Goldstein's book before you were arrested. The book is part of the process. You've read Goldstein's book too? Winston asked. I did more than just read it, O'Brien said. I worked on the team of people who wrote it. Is any of it true? Winston asked. Parts of it are true, O'Brien said. The parts about how governments in the past have worked and why they have failed are true. The part that is not true is the part about how the proles will one day rise up and overthrow the party. That will never happen. Now, I need to ask you an important question. Why do you think the party works so hard to stay in power? Winston thought about it. He felt like he knew the answer to this question. The party wants to stay in power because people are too stupid to think for themselves, Winston said. If people make their own decisions, they'll make bad choices. They need the party to do what is best for them. They need the party to protect them. O'Brien shot electricity through Winston's body. No, wrong, O'Brien shouted. The party doesn't want power in order to help people. The party wants total control for the sake of having total power. Other dictatorships have failed because they lie to themselves about their motives. The German Nazis and the Russian communists failed because they pretended they were trying to create a better society for the people. The party is successful because we understand and embrace our actual goal, staying in power. O'Brien really believes in all of this, Winston thought. He looked at O'Brien's face and noticed how old and tired the man looked. I know what you're thinking right now, O'Brien said. You're looking at my face and thinking about how old and tired I look. The point you are missing is that any one person doesn't matter. My body will get old and die, but that doesn't matter. I'm just a tiny part of Big Brother. When I die, it won't impact the party any more than if you trimmed off a fingernail. The party is eternal. It will live forever. The party will live forever. I am just a small part of the party, but in that way I will live forever too. Remember what the party teaches. Freedom is slavery. If you are free the way you think you want to be, you are a slave to your own selfish wants and desires. That's not freedom. Flip the saying around. Slavery is freedom. This is also true. If you are a slave to the party, working only for the party to ensure it remains powerful, you are free. You no longer have to think for yourself. You are totally free of stress and worry. Once you accept that the party controls reality, you'll stop being confused and unhappy. Whatever the party says right now to keep itself in power is true, and that reality can change from day to day or situation to situation. Sometimes the party needs the Earth to revolve around the sun. Sometimes the party needs the sun to revolve around the Earth. Both are true when necessary, because the party controls everything, even the physical world around you. But that isn't actually true, Winston said. Some facts are just facts. You can say something else, but it doesn't change reality. A jolt of electricity. Your mind is still undisciplined and untrained. You have a lot to learn. What is real and what is not only exists in our minds. If our minds are aligned with Big Brother's, whatever Big Brother says becomes reality. We can do anything. We can fly or become invisible if Big Brother tells us we can. We make the laws of nature now. But you can't do that, Winston said. Things like gravity or the age of the planet, you can't just change those things. They're facts that can be proven. That's what you say, O'Brien said, but I disagree. I can create any fact I want, and it is true. You've obviously forgotten how doublethink works. You don't have total control over the world, though, Winston said. Eastasia and Eurasia are not under your control. They don't have to do what you say or think what you tell them to think. Another electric shock. Oceania could take over East Asia and Eurasia if it wanted to, O'Brien said. But it doesn't matter what they do. Oceania exists all by itself. Nothing else matters. The party doesn't need power over places on a map. The party doesn't care about that. The party cares about having power over people, body and mind. That is what matters. Winston, how does one person show that he has power over another person? By making him suffer? By hurting him and torturing him? Winston said. Exactly, O'Brien said. Getting someone to agree with you isn't enough. That isn't total control. In order to have total control, you have to show the other person that you are more powerful by hurting them. In the past, societies have failed because they tried to base themselves on love and justice. We have learned from those mistakes and are doing the opposite. We are creating a society based on pain and fear. What you have experienced is just the beginning. We become more cruel, more merciless with each new generation. We will break down all the old ways of doing things that could undermine our power. The most dangerous thing is the family unit. People will do anything for their children, and it gets in the way of their loyalty to the party. In the future, we will take babies away from their families as soon as they are born. They will be raised to be hateful and cruel, to have no loyalty to anything except the party. There will be no such thing as sexual pleasure. It can lead people to form dangerous bonds, and this cannot be allowed. Doctors will invent a pill that keeps people from having orgasms, and this will make the party stronger. There will be no art, no music, or writing. These things make people feel like unique individuals, which cannot be allowed. Over and over again forever, there will be violence. The party will live forever. Nothing will be able to stop it. Eventually you will accept this, you will want it, you will beg to be part of it. Your plan will never work, Winston said. Hate and violence are not human beings' natural instincts. People want to feel love and happiness. There will always be people who question. There will always be rebellions. If there are rebellions, we will stop them, O'Brien said, just like we're doing with you right now. What you are saying is impossible, Winston said. There is something bigger in the universe that won't let it happen. Are you talking about God? O'Brien said. Because the party is God. Not God, Winston said, but something inside of human beings. Humanity will prevail. Do you think you represent humanity? O'Brien laughed. Stand up, walk over to the mirror, take off all your clothes, and look at yourself. I want you to see what humanity looks like. Winston stood up. His legs were weak. It was the first time he had really looked at himself since he was arrested. As he took off his clothes, he saw how dirty they were. His skin was dirty, too. Dirt was ground into his skin, so he looked gray. Once he was naked, he looked into the mirror. He did not recognize the monster he saw in the mirror. The thing in the mirror was so skinny you could see every rib. Its legs were so thin that its knees looked huge in comparison. Its face was wrinkled, and it was missing most of its teeth. Its hair was patchy. Clumps of it had fallen out. It was covered in cuts and bruises. It looked weak and sad. The monster in the mirror was Winston. Look at yourself, O'Brien said. If you represent humanity, humanity is screwed. You're sick, you're weak, you're disgusting. You smell like sweat and pee. You're practically dead already. O'Brien reached into Winston's mouth and grabbed one of his teeth. There was a quick burst of pain, and the tooth pulled out. You're rotting like a dead body, O'Brien said. I can pull out your teeth with just my hands. Pathetic. Put your clothes back on. I can't stand to look at you. Winston put his clothes back on. He laid down on the table without even being told. You can make all of this stop whenever you want, O'Brien said. All you have to do is open up your mind and let Big Brother in. He will fill you up with his hate, and you will finally get to be at peace. You have suffered so much. You felt so much fear, so much pain. You have confessed to terrible crimes. You have betrayed everyone. I haven't betrayed Julia, Winston said quietly. It was true, he hadn't. He had told them everything he knew about her. He had described every minute they had spent together and everything they had said to one another. But he had not betrayed her. He had not stopped loving her. Without him even saying it, O'Brien understood that this was true. How long will it be until they shoot me? Winston asked. O'Brien sighed. It might be a very long time, he said. You are very stubborn. But we will fix you. We won't give up. Then we will shoot you.